So this company has been in trouble for many, many years. As you mentioned, first came in July, it was in 2021. And it has actually been trying to work with the government as well as its debt holders to work out a solution. But the problem is the housing market in China just continued to get worse. And even though early in this year, we saw a blip of sign of life, but it sort of faltered away. And it certainly looked like the situation is far more dire, and hence why they need to file for protection. Also, in the same way, sending a message that we do need some sort of much bigger stimulus package to really support the housing market there in China.
Just take us through that complexity of the Chinese property market, because we have had a lot of questions raised around the way that property investments are carried out in China, and particularly the involvement, I suppose, of state-owned enterprises in this as well. How does that affect the situation?
Of course. So what's really interesting is that it was started off many, many years ago as trying to keep the prices low. So Xi Jinping at the time wanted to reduce the cost of living, really, and housing was one of the biggest problems. So he tried to lower the prices. So he has now put a lot of austerity measure for a lot of property developers as well as a lot of property-related investments. So then that sort of snowballed into a bigger problem when those property developers had multiple times leveraged, and they couldn't pay back the debt. And at the same time, it was coincide with a hard lockdown in China where people couldn't pay for their property investment, and then it just got worse. And so now that it got into a problem where government's finding it very difficult not to support the property market. Now we started seeing a lot of interesting news out of China official about supporting the consumer, and this week alone we have seen multiple support messages coming out of the government. So we do think we're getting very close to some sort of larger package to support the housing market, because if we don't, we are then facing, one is that the consumer will be further under pressure, and two is that they will miss their growth target that they put out early in this year.
Junpei, you point there to the impact of the lockdowns, the pandemic. How big of a factor, and what other sort of factors might be playing into this situation now manifesting again?
Look, absolutely. So look, it's really because one is the interest rate. Debt holders are really having a little bit nervous about what is going to happen. And previously, there was a lot of belief that Chinese government will always step in to support any business that has debt issues, and that's what they have done for many decades. But what is happening now, and they are being allowed to file for bankruptcy and the like, is certainly a sign that government wants to send the signal that for spectators or speculators, don't do it. You will lose money. So the government is trying to send that signal at the same time while trying to support the market. It is a very delicate balance, and we need to see what's going to transpire.
As you say, a delicate balance in the mix here. Just how much of an impact could this potentially have for the Chinese economy overall if they aren't able to, get on top of this and it snowballs and affects other sectors in the economy?
Look, it'll be enormous because China, we just saw the latest print, already slipped into deflation. And so that means the consumer is doing really, really tough, even though they just come out of COVID. Remember, every other economy coming out of COVID was very strong pickup in consumer, and they are showing another sign of leg down. So if government doesn't keep that contained, that could transpire into something that's much harder to arrest. We might be even talking about recession. That's going to be very, very difficult for that economy to manage.
And China being the world's second biggest economy, how might that then affect other markets and the globe, I suppose? Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, we've been hoping China's growth or pickup in growth will help to offset the slowdown around the world, like the US and Australia. But what's been happening is that it's actually been a drag in terms of growth. And we just saw the latest iron ore shipment by our largest mining companies to China last month was the lowest in 10 years. It's just a sign that things are going to get worse. So flow-on impact is it's pretty tough for our economy as well.
All right, well, we will have to wait and see how the Chinese government responds. Junpei Liu with Tribeca Investments, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.